Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Don-MacLaughlin, mandel-kramer, an episode of Counterspy. This episode, from November 12th, 1950, is entitled The Case of the Stolen Secret.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Counterspy.
Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy. Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy.
Harding, Counterspy, calling Washington.
United States Counterspies, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
These Counterspy reports to the American people are brought to you each week at this time. Now, the case of the stolen secret.
Dr. Hilton, I wish you'd let me go with you.
It's best that I go alone, Lucy. After you leave me off at the railroad station, I'd like you to go back home and wait until you hear from me.
Just as you say. But somehow I don't like the idea of you going to Washington by yourself.
I'll attract much less attention that way.
That formula in your briefcase is so important, you can never tell what might happen.
Now, come, Lucy. You're getting all upset over nothing at all.
You've worked 2 long years on it. I've watched you, Dr. Hilton. I know how much it's taken out of you.
It was worth every minute of it, my dear.
I know, but I can't help thinking of the desperate measures certain people might take to gain possession of it.
At the present moment, my dear Lucy, that would be a sheer waste of time. Only this week, I discovered certain of my hypotheses were invalid. Fortunately, I know now the cause of my errors. Nevertheless, my formula will still be in the hands of the National Defense Coordinator in the morning.
Oh, you say it so lightly, as though your very life weren't in danger.
Lucy, I'm not the swaggering hero you'd like to think I am.
Oh, I think you're pretty wonderful, Doctor. Do you mind?
Not at all. I'm flattered.
You've been like a father to me.
Yes, unfortunately, I'm at the age where I best suit the fatherly role.
Is this close enough to the platform?
Fine, my dear, fine.
Dr. Hilton, I still can't help worrying. Won't you please let me go with you? I brought along my overnight bag. Please say yes.
Lucy, believe me, I assure you that nothing very much can happen to me or the formula.
But how can you be so sure?
Because until I make certain revisions in my figures, my formula will be of no consequence. Several hours' work in my train compartment at most. Until then, what I'm carrying in my briefcase is worthless.
Are you sure you're not telling me a story?
My word of honor. Now, do you feel better about it?
Much. But you will be careful anyway. Now, promise me.
I promise, my dear, not to run afoul of any cloak and dagger tactics between now and my arrival in Washington. Well, there's my train coming in. I'll be back in Centerdale Tuesday. Goodbye, Lucy.
Goodbye, Doctor.
And don't worry. Everything will be perfectly all right. Perfectly. Yes, who is it?
Conductor, sir.
No, just a moment.
One peep out of you, Hilton, and you're dead.
What?
Inside.
What's the meaning of this?
No, sit down. You'll be good or a bullet goes through your head.
What do you want?
You know what I want. There won't have to be a mess if you hand it over.
I don't know what you're talking about. If it's money you're after...
Yeah, it's money I'm after. Not the kind you'd be carrying. Maybe this has what I want.
Give me that briefcase.
Thanks for telling me it's in here.
Give me that.
I told you to sit down.
Please, you must
All right,
not
let go. Okay, you asked for it.
Dale Counterspy Field Office. To David Harding, Washington. Dr. Theodore Hilton found murdered aboard train en route Washington. Train being held at this stop for thorough investigation. We'll stand by for any special orders from you.
Attention, Counterspy, pistol target range. Attention.
Everybody, Mr. Harding.
This is David Harding. Will Agent Harry Peters report immediately to my office? This is urgent.
And here's Jennison's supplementary report, Peters. Came in over the Counterspy wire 3 minutes ago.
Dr. Theodore Hilton. I've heard that name, Mr. Harding.
Dr. Hilton was a research scientist.
Oh, yes. In the field of fuel refining, right?
Right. He just completed developing a new formula for processing a special fuel for jets. It was to have given us a sure edge on air power. Dr. Hilton was on his way to Washington here to explain the process to government technicians.
It isn't hard to fill in the rest, Chief. The formula's missing.
Yes, but we do know that it was being carried in a tan leather briefcase, locked. The case was missing from his train compartment.
Any other leads?
No. Still too early to determine what sort of instrument struck the blow that killed Dr. Hilton.
Did anyone see Hilton with another person on the train?
We don't know yet. All the passengers are being questioned.
The thing is to find out what happened to that briefcase.
Yes, and the espionage agent who took it. I've already sent out orders to put every available man on this case. All roads, train stations, bus depots, and airports in that area are now under our surveillance.
What do we do now, Dave?
Now, Peters, we're taking the jet to Meadville to supervise operations.
Okay, coming up, a ham on rye. 2 coffee. Yeah. Coming up. I got him. Ham and rye. Okay. The coffee coming up. Sugar's down.
A pack of cigarettes.
Hey? Yeah, what kind?
What do I care? Any kind.
Okay, here, yeah. I'll get you some matches.
Keep it. Good night.
Hey, wait a minute.
Operator.
Quick, operator, get me the Counterspy field office here in town.
Right away, sir.
Dale Counterspy field office, Agent Jennison.
Yeah, hello. This is Cy Smith, Smitty's Diner on Elm Street.
Yes?
Look, a guy just walked out of here carrying a briefcase that looked like the one I heard about on the radio. The one that Dr. Hilton had when he was killed.
He just walked out?
Yeah.
Did you watch where he went?
Yeah, he hopped into a car out front. It looked to me like it was a Chevy.
Could you describe what he looked like?
Sure. He left a $50 for a pack of smokes. Who'd forget a guy like that?
Agent Jennison, Centerdale Field Office. To David Harding in Jet S1 en route Meadville.
Harding, go ahead, Jennison.
Continuing report on the diner operator. He's given us a pretty clear picture of the man with the briefcase, but he was unable to make identification from our local photo files.
All right, Jennison, contact our statistical department in Washington. Tell them to have everything prepared for an identification search. Then have that diner operator flown to Washington as soon as possible. You got that?
Yes, Mr. Harding. I'll get right on it.
Where were you, Garok? I've been trying to get you on the phone for a couple of hours.
Steve, I do not sit in this hole in the wall developing pictures every minute of my life. I go out to eat sometimes. Not often, but every once in a while.
Yeah, you take 3 hours to eat, and me, I walk around with those hot papers on me, right out in the open.
I'm not interested in your tale of woe. Gorok has his own. I stand in a dark room till the sight of the sunlight blinds me. I am not better than a donkey used in the mines.
Yeah, you and your talk.
At least I do my job well. There was nothing about killing Dr. Hilton in the instructions given to you by Mr. Sibley.
Well, I couldn't help it. The old guy got too rough for his own good.
Mr. Sibley will not be happy about that.
Well, who's asking you what Mr. Sibley will be happy about? Here's the stuff. Put it on microfilm and shut your mouth.
The likes of you, Garok does not take orders from. Garok is an artist.
Garok is nothing but a big mouth. Now, come on, take the papers and do what you're supposed to do.
I am to do nothing until Mr. Sibley arrives. Garok is wise enough to follow instructions.
You sure put on a big front, don't you, Garok? I do the dirty work.
Very dirty work.
I'm telling you, Garok, I'm not taking much more of you.
You cannot frighten me, Steve. Garok has brains.
Yeah, well,
and Garok also has a gun in his pocket. Ah, Mr. Sibley. Good evening, Mr. Sibley.
I see we're all assembled. Good.
He just got here.
Yes. Steve.
Hello, Mr. Sibley.
It would be more appropriate to make that goodbye, my friend.
What?
You needn't become alarmed. As yet, I haven't decided under what circumstances we shall part. I'm convinced only of the necessity of ending our relationship.
Now, look, Mr. Sibley, I got what you were after.
Control yourself.
Yes, Steve, do. There's no need for becoming upset.
A drink, Mr. Sibley?
Not at the moment, Garok, thank you.
Here's the papers, Mr. Sibley. Maybe we don't click too good together, but anyway, here's what you were after. So if it's okay with you, I'll take my payoff now and beat it.
To simple minds, everything seems so uncomplicated.
Sit down, Steve. I have some things to say to you before you leave.
I'll stand.
As you wish. Briefly, my friend, you've gone about your assignment in a fashion so slovenly that I find it absolutely incredible.
You mean about what happened to Dr. Hilton?
What else could I possibly mean?
Well, I couldn't help that. It was an accident. I didn't think that slug on the head would kill him on. It's just an accident, Mr. Sibley.
That's unimportant now. The man is dead, and the formula is of almost no use to us because of that fact. Without Dr. Hilton, it'll take much too long to make practical application of those papers you think so valuable.
That is why Garok did not put them on microfilm.
So the operation itself is a failure. But added to that, you've allowed yourself to become identified.
What do you mean? Nobody saw me.
No? The description of your unhappy countenance has been advertised on every radio station in the country.
But I'm telling
Why
you...
didn't you get rid of that briefcase, you imbecile?
I did get rid of it. I threw it in an empty lot.
But not until after you were seen with it.
Well, I couldn't help it. It had a lock on it. I had to break the lock, didn't I?
Quiet. The point is, you're very dangerous to us at the moment, to our entire network. And most important of all, to my superior.
Why, I thought you were running the operation.
Garok.
Yes, Mr. Sibley.
I shall leave the matter of Steve's disposition up to you.
And I, Mr. Sibley, will leave it up to this gun.
Hey, wait.
For Garok, this will be an exquisite pleasure.
I shall wait here until you return. Where is the liquor?
In the chest over there. I have some very fine brandy.
Now, Mr. Sibley, give me a break.
I do enjoy fine brandy. So much. Goodbye, Steve.
Yes?
Miss Lucy Braden?
Yes?
I'm David Harding, Miss Braden. This is my assistant, Mr. Peters. We drove over from Meadville to speak with you.
Oh, please come in, gentlemen.
Thank you.
This way. We can talk in the living room.
All right.
You've been with Dr. Hilton for a number of years, we understand.
Yes, Mr. Peters. I was his ward. After I became of age, I stayed on with him, you might say, as a secretary.
I see.
Won't you sit down?
No, thank you. Now, we'll try not to take up too much of your time, Miss Braden. We realize how you must feel.
Yes?
Just a few questions, and then we'll leave.
I'll tell you anything I can, Mr. Harding.
The doctor's laboratory is on the premises here, is it?
Yes, at the rear of the house.
Oh.
And his bedroom was right next to it. My room is upstairs.
Does anyone else live in this house, Miss Braden?
Well, we have a housekeeper, but she doesn't sleep in.
Then there was only you and Dr. Hilton.
There used to be my brother Charles. He was the newspaper correspondent who disappeared in Eastern Europe 2 years ago.
Yes, Miss Braden. As we know about your brother, his case is still an open matter in our files.
First Charles, and now Dr. Hilton.
We may yet locate your brother, Miss Braden.
Oh, I've given up hope. Dr. Hilton and I both knew why Charles disappeared. Because the country in which he was working didn't like the truth. And Charles told the truth in his dispatch.
Oh, we'll be just a moment more.
It's quite all right. I don't mind if I can be of any help.
Well, who knew about Dr. Hilton's plan to go to Washington?
I did.
Besides yourself?
The housekeeper, perhaps?
Oh, I don't believe so, Mr. Harding. Dr. Hilton cautioned me to mention it to no one.
I see. Well, that's about all, Miss Braden.
If there's anything else I can do, anything.
No, not at the moment. But if you do think of anything that might help us, you can reach me at the Counterspy field office in Meadville. Call me anytime, day or night.
Do you think you'll be able to find the man?
I don't know, Miss Braden, but we're certainly going to try very hard. Very hard.
Well, Garok, you're back sooner than I...
Mr. Sibley.
Garok, what happened? Your head is bleeding.
That animal, Steve.
Come on, man, speak. What happened?
He lunged at me before I could fire.
What?
He was desperate. You know how a man who is going to die sometimes becomes...
You let him get away.
I tried to stop him. I held on to him. Grok, a small man. He is such a large animal. He kicked me. Oh, my head.
He got away.
He kicked Grok. Kicked me in my head.
Now the counterspies will have him in no time.
Help me, Mr. Sibley. Oh, the pain in my head. Help me.
5 minutes after they have him, he'll have told them everything. Oh, Garok, you fool. It was going to be an exquisite pleasure for you.
Grok had the brains, but he had the instinct and speed of an animal.
You bungled, ruined everything.
Oh, my head. Oh, Mr. Sibley, do something for Grok. Do something to stop the pain in his head. Oh.
All right, Skurok. I'll help stop the pain in your head.
Oh, you are a merciful man, Mr. Sibley.
I'll stop the pain in you forever.
You are listening to the Case of the Stolen Secret on Counterspy.
November 12, 1950, Counterspy on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now more of Counterspy and the Case of the Stolen Secret, November 12, 1950.
Now, back to Counterspy.
That's the information, Carter. Radio it to all patrols. Have them notify me here at the Meadville field office.
So his name is Steve Meeker, eh, Mr. Harding?
Meeker. He's got a record a half-mile long. If he's still in the area of our operation, he's a gone duck.
That idea of yours sending the diner owner down to Washington for identification paid off.
Well, we can't be too sure yet, Peters, but it certainly saved us some time. Wait a minute. Harding speaking.
I want to talk to you, Harding.
Who's this?
Steve Meeker.
You're Steve Meeker, you say?
That's right.
Meeker, Dave? Get on the extension.
I give up.
I'm listening.
I heard my name on the radio just now. I'm cut off, I know it. I can't move 2 feet without there's a cop right there.
All right, Meeker, if you're ready to give up, all you have to do is walk into the field office here. I'll call my men off.
Oh, it ain't your men. There's someone else in Meadville I'm worried about.
Who?
You gonna come for me?
Where are you?
Over in Centerdale.
Who's after you, Meeker?
Nothing doing. I don't spill that until I know it's gonna do me some good.
All right. Where exactly are you?
In a drugstore.
Now listen to me. Get out of that store. The one you're worried about may be there instead of Meadville. Go to the address I'm going to give you and tell whoever's there that I sent you, and I'll be along to pick you up. You'll be safe there.
Okay.
14 Crown Street. Got that?
Yeah, 14 Crown.
Wait there for me. I'm starting for Centerdale now.
Yes?
This is 14 Crown, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, then I got the right place.
Whom do you wish to see?
I don't know the name.
Well, I'm sure you must have the wrong information.
Oh, no. This is where David Harding sent me.
Mr. Harding?
Yeah, he said I should wait here for him. He said if I gave you his name, you'd let me in.
Then come in. You can wait for Mr. Harding in the living room. I'm Lucy Braden, Mr.
My name doesn't count.
Didn't Mr. Harding say what time he'd be here?
As soon as he can get over from Meadville.
November 12th, 1950, Counterspy. The conclusion in just a few moments here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Also an episode of Speed Gibson and the International Secret Police straight ahead. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Counterspy in the case of the stolen secret, November 12th, 1950.
Sit down if you like.
Thanks. Mind if I smoke?
Not at all. Can I get you something?
Well, what have you got? Maybe rye?
I'm sorry, we have no whiskey in the house.
Beer?
No beer either. But I have some soft drinks in the refrigerator.
Soda pop, eh?
Yes. Would you care for some?
Well, okay. I wouldn't mind.
I'll be right back.
Hey.
Yes?
Cut matches, I'm all out.
You'll find a lighter on the desk.
Thanks. They never work, these lighters. Never the first time.
We only have root beer.
Oh, root beer's okay. In fact, it's perfect.
I took the liberty of pouring you a glass.
Mm-hmm. You can take any liberty you like with me, honey. Any time.
There's more if you want it.
Nice and cold. I like drinks that are nice and cold.
Would you please...
Would I what?
Nothing. Are you sure Mr. Harding sent you here?
Mm-hmm. He sent me. He sure set up something nice and neat for me.
What do you mean?
Look, honey, I'm no friend of Harding.
Then what are
I'm
you...
on the lam. Wait.
Let me go, please.
Came to me just now like that.
Please, let me go. You're hurting me.
I was going to do a dumb thing, but now I got a better idea. Yeah, great. What a setup.
Please let me go, please.
You're leaving this place now with me.
What?
That's right. You're getting me out of this jam, baby. You're my rain check. No cop in the world would take a pot shot while I got you right next to me. And Harding set up the whole thing himself. We'll write him a letter of thanks when we get out of the country.
You're crazy.
Sure, like a fox.
You can't get away. If you're wanted, they'll get you sooner or later.
With you along, honey, nothing can... Oh.
Nothing?
Huh?
Nothing, Steve.
Oh, Mr. Sibley.
I'm taking up where Garok left off. Garok was right. You are an animal. A man dies much faster. And that, Lucy, makes the final bridge we've burned behind us.
You waited long enough to fire, Sibley.
Sorry, my dear. It all rather amused me.
Don't be insolent.
Forgive me.
Well, we owe a great deal of our good fortune to Harding, eh, Lucy?
Yes, but you'd better not be here to thank him.
Listen, that must be Harding now. It's too late for me to get out.
Get in the back of the house. Hide in the kitchen closet.
They must have heard the shots. What are you going to tell Harding?
Leave that to me. Give me your gun.
Yeah.
Now hurry. Do what I told you.
All right.
Oh, Mr. Harding, it was terrible.
What's happened, Miss Braden? Where's the man, I say?
Come in, please. Did you hear the shots?
Shots? What shots are you talking about?
There's the man you sent over there near the table.
What happened?
He tried to make me go with him. He said he was going to use me as a shield. I broke away from him, and there was a gun in the desk. I tried to hold him at bay. He came after me.
Now, take it easy, Miss Braden. You don't have to be too upset. He was a vicious killer. He murdered Dr. Hilton.
He was the one?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Harding, how could you send that man here to this house of all places?
I'll let you think about my reason for that, Miss Braden, when you're in a cell, in a good, strong jail.
What?
Until you come to trial for murder and espionage.
What are you talking about?
As the head of a spy ring, Miss Braden, you should know exactly what I'm talking about.
You don't know what you're saying.
Now, if you'll just come along, we can talk it all over down at the field.
Stand right where you are, or I fire this gun.
So I do know what I'm talking about.
Unfortunately for you, you do.
I'm interested in one thing especially. How can your sentiments be what they are in the face of what happened to your brother?
Very simple. My brother is alive and well. He went to the place where he is now of his own free will. We both have the same political sentiments. Charles is waiting for me to join him.
You'll never make it now. I never shot a woman, but I'd be glad to make you an exception unless you drop that gun. All right, come on, you. You're joining the party.
All right, if you prod me so.
Would you consider resisting arrest? No, what a shame.
Where'd you find him, Peter?
Lined up with a couple of dirty brooms in the kitchen closet.
Lucy, what are we going to do now?
Plead guilty as charged.
First, Mr. Harding, you'll have to prove those charges.
That won't be hard. This evening, my agents came across a dead man named Garok. Of course, Garok didn't talk, but the data we found in his photo lab did.
I'll take these two along, Chief.
Wait, just a moment, Peters. I have something that may interest Miss Braden.
I doubt it.
Usually, Miss Braden, the counterspies operate on a highly scientific basis, but every once in a while we have to resort to our knowledge of criminal behavior to get results. You were much too innocent of too many things. You went out of your way to point out that you were the only one who knew Dr. Hilton was going to Washington, a fact you made no bones about, obviously to establish how innocent you were. It was your behavior that got results in this case.
Oh, no. It was the stupidity of my associates.
Oh, no. The stupidity was essentially yours to think you could get away with treason. All right, now, Peters, you take them away.
Don-Maclaughlin and Mandel-Kramer in Counterspy, November 12, 1950, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now an episode of Speed Gibson of the International Secret Police. This episode from November 12th, 1938.
Speed Gibson of the International Secret Police.
Ceiling zero. Ceiling zero. Ceiling zero. Ceiling zero.
Speed, Clint, and Barney now have all the proof they need for the arrest of the Octopus and plan to advance on the pass of the Iron Dagger this very night and capture their enemy. Meanwhile, however, Quan Wu has managed to live through the plane crash and has returned to the Octopus Castle. He tells his master what he has heard of the advance, that Bob Gilmore is bringing a band of men from Nagchuka, while still more police are stationed in Mardak, the slave headquarters at the foot of the Himalayas. He urges the Octopus to flee for his life, but the criminal merely laughs. He has an army of his own hidden in the lower rooms of the castle, and now sets ordering them to their stations in the surrounding hills to await the attack and destroy the secret police once and for all. Clint and the others, however, are not waiting for Bob Gilmore to join them, but have gone ahead, alone, hoping to thus surprise the Octopus. We now find them crouched in the cold and windy pass, watching the castle.
Hey, how much longer do we have to park here watching that big barn while our tootsies freeze?
Just as long as there's activity around the castle, Barney. The Octopus is evidently stationing his men for defense.
You mean he knows we're going to come after him, Clint?
He must have gotten wind of it somehow, Speed.
Gotten wind of it is right. This wind would carry it to anybody.
Oh, stop talking foolishness, Barney.
I resent that. I'm just trying to make the time pass quicker. We may be waiting out here in the cold for the rest of the night.
I don't think so, Barney. I haven't seen any fellas come out of the castle within the last 10 minutes. Maybe they're all out by now.
If you're right, Speed. And once we're sure they're all out, then we'll go in.
And no matter what we run into inside the castle, it won't be half as bad as this wind and cold outside.
How are we going to go in, Clint? By the front door?
No, we're running enough danger coming here alone without letting the Octopus know we're here before we can surprise him.
And how? If he finds us now or any of his men find us, we'll never fly another plane.
Oh, I'm not worried about the Octopus getting a drop on Clint, but I'm sure anxious to get inside and get it over with.
Don't you worry, fella. Things are liable to happen fast enough once we're inside that castle. I think we'll try and enter through that basement door we got through once before.
And if that's locked, I know a window at the back of the place. Dawan me went through it when I took the pictures.
I'd rather stay away from the rear of the castle, Speed. There's too many guards back there.
Funny he didn't station any here in front of the castle, ain't it?
No, I believe he set a trap for us, Barney. He expects us to attack in force. Thinks we might come up the foot trail and attempt to surround the house. He'd allow us to do that, and then his men would surround us on every side.
Gee, what about Bob Gilmore and his men, Clint?
By the time they get here, we'll either have the situation well in hand, or else we will have failed entirely, Speed.
Happy thought. Well, I ain't seen anybody go in or out of that castle lately. How about us getting a move on?
Yeah, might as well, Barney. Now, we'll all stay pretty well together at first. But in case they spot us, break up, scatter. There's less chance of them getting all of us then.
Okay, Clint.
Yes, and keep your guns ready.
You bet. Right now, this little gun is the best friend I have. What about that moon?
Well, we won't move until one of those clouds passes over its face. And keep an eye on the cloud, too. When the moon breaks through again, make sure you're hidden in some shadow.
How many eyes do you think I've got? What with watching out for Octopus gangsters and clouds over the moon, I'd have to have eyes in the top of my head.
Oh, well, maybe you'd rather stay here, Grandma.
Nothing doing. What do you think I am, anyhow?
Well, okay. Now watch it. There's a big cloud being blown over the moon. Get ready to run for it.
Okay, Clint.
There it goes. And here we go.
The moon's gonna come through.
Quick, duck in here.
Yeah, not a minute too soon. Gee, that moon's like a searchlight.
Yes, it's none too good for us. But it helped us in one way. We know just about where our enemies are stationed.
I wish we knew if they was watching us play hide and seek.
Yes, we only have a little way to go to that door there. Now look, the moon's covered again. Come on. That's it. Come on, Barney. Take it easy. That's fine.
Here we go.
Fine. And now, let's hope the door's unlocked.
Yeah, it ought to be. After all them fellas came out. What I hope is that they're all out.
Yeah. It's all clear. Follow me.
Boy, what a relief.
Say, that door's been oiled. Squeaked like the dickens the last time we used it.
Last time?
Yeah. The time Clint and me came up here looking for you, Barney, when you were missing.
I'll get to the bottom of that yet someday.
You will if we get out of this. Now, come on, we better get going before somebody finds us.
Yeah, the lights are on in these lower rooms. I don't like that so much. It doesn't give us a chance to hide if anybody should come through here.
No, I don't think the Octopus dreams we're anywhere near him yet, Speed. Now, what we've got to do is find the passage that leads to the laboratory. He's probably in there.
I think I can find it, Clint. I used it when I was here with Dawa.
Oh, you did? Well, then lead on, Speed.
Yeah, and make sure you lead us to the right place. This is no time for guesses.
I'm sure, Barney. Come on. Gosh, these rooms sure look different from the last time I was here. We're bare as could be.
Well, they look as if they'd been lived in plenty.
What with slaves and Octopus gangsters, I guess they have.
I guess the Octopus got all the slaves out of here.
Yes, but Chief Teepo's men will nab them at Mardek.
Teepo's been swell. He sure wanted to come along with us.
Yes, but I wanted him to keep an eye on Larry Winfield until Bob Gilmore arrived with his men from Nagchuka. See, you sure you're leading us in the right direction, Speed?
I'm sure of it, Clint. Yeah, see that door up ahead there?
Yes.
That goes into a passage that leads right to the laboratory.
I hope you're right, kid.
Yes, I only wish we could open that secret passage that Quan Wu used. Oh, well, this'll have to do, I guess.
You bet. This'll take you right to the Octopus if he's in the laboratory.
Lead on, kid. And from now on, hold your hat.
Everything is ready for the attack of the secret police, Quan Wu.
I hope we have overlooked nothing, Master.
You do not seem very happy over the situation.
I still believe that we should have left the pass of the Iron Dagger.
Bah, if I listened to you, Quan Wu, I would never accomplish anything. Never become master of the entire world.
I think only of your best interest.
And your life. You're not fooling me, Wu. By the way, has the door leading from the lower rooms been barred?
I do not know.
You had better go and see. I do not want any visitors coming in without our knowing it.
Visitors? You mean the secret police?
Yes. I expect them to attack in force this time. but I shall take no chances. Go and make sure that all doors are barred now, and that all the men have left the lower rooms.
Yes. Very well, master. Very well.
The cowardly fool. He has outgrown his usefulness. I believe it would be better to destroy him after I have destroyed the secret police. With Tibet at my mercy, I shall have plenty of men to obey my commands. No need for such cowards as Quan Wu. Are you back already, Quan Wu? Did you forget that?
Yes, Octopus. It's me, Barlow. And so we've caught up with you at last.
And don't move or I'll blow you higher than a kite.
I shouldn't think of moving with such clever men as the secret police in the room. Particularly since you have 3 guns and I have none.
Don't give us any of that stuff, Octopus. Many's the time you were going to do away with us without giving us a chance.
True, Speed Gibson. And I see now that I should have worked harder toward your destruction.
What'll I do, Clint? Wipe up the floor with him?
No, Barney. Put the handcuffs on him.
Can I take just one punch at him?
No.
Oh.
What do you think you're going to do, Barlow? Capture me while my men are surrounding the castle?
Put the cuffs on him, Barney, but stay clear of him.
You bet. I hate to touch this devilfish, but I guess I have to put the cuffs on him.
You refuse to answer my question, Barlow?
I have little to say to you, Octopus. I thought I would have when the time came and we actually faced one another. But now that it has come, there seems little to say.
That's right, Clint. All you have to do is deliver the Octopus to Chief Riley now.
That is all.
Wipe that smile off your face.
Supposing you do. I'm handcuffed. You are armed. You should have no trouble, Dunlap.
Clint, let me take the cuffs off for just a minute, will you? Let me have just 1 minute with this guy, and you won't have to take him back to Chief Riley.
Pipe down, Barney. We've got a job to do yet. We've captured the Octopus, but there's going to be something else again to get him out of the pass.
So? You have thought of that, Barlow?
Yes, I've thought of that. And more, Octopus. And you're going to solve the problem for us.
So?
You're going to send word to your men to disband, to return their weapons to the lower rooms.
Then, after disarming them, it will be a simple matter to arrest them.
That's the general idea?
Yeah. We're not like you, Octopus. We try to save lives.
Very thoughtful of you, Speedy Gibson.
Are you going to give that order?
No.
What?
No. Why should I give an order that will place me entirely at your mercy when I can destroy you simply by remaining silent?
Because if you remain silent, Octopus, you will also destroy yourself. And knowing your ego as I do, I don't think you'd like to do that.
What do you mean, destroy myself?
If you don't give the orders to your men to disarm, we'll shoot you down without any further delay.
You wouldn't dare. They'd be on you like a pack of wolves. Do you think you could escape them?
No, but we came here to do one thing, Octopus, get you. We knew you might get us. We took that chance, so that don't worry us none. The only thing we wouldn't like is to not get rid of you. And believe me, we won't take that chance.
But it's suicide.
Stop stalling, Octopus. Are you going to give that order, or aren't you? And mind you, don't try to give the alarm at the same time, or I'll shoot.
But don't you realize... Quan Wu, the boy!
Reed, look out!
Let me go! Master, what are your orders?
You have your gun, Wu?
Yes.
Now the tables are reversed, Clint Barlow.
What do you mean?
You ordered me to disarm my men to save my life. Now I demand that you give me your guns to save the life of your nephew.
What? You mean you...
Unless you follow my order immediately, Quan Wu has orders to shoot. And he has no chance of missing.
You gotta love going back well over 80 years to hear Howard McNear and Gail Gordon in serious dramatic roles. As serious as it gets with this serial. November 12th, 1938, Speed Gibson of the International Secret Police on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit my friend Ted over at radiomemories.com. He has programs available on cassette, CD, or flash drive for your computer at very reasonable prices and in very clear audio. That's radiomemories.com. Thank this station. Support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every time you roll around here on your favorite station. Now, a very important reminder to visit our webpage, classicradio.stream. You can stream our shows there, learn more about classic radio collecting. You can contact me there. You can stay in touch with us through our social media links. And if you want to support keeping this program on the air, you can buy me a coffee. That buy me a coffee money goes toward not only building our classic radio collections, but also keeping our distribution networks up and running. That's at classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. Have yourself a great day. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.